suspicious science.
It's a surprising fact. If you draw a line across the Indonesian archipelago on a map, the wildlife on the east and west sides of this line is strikingly different. The biggest difference is probably noticeable among mammals. On the west side, there are mammals with placentas, placental mammals, while on the east side, there are animals like monotremes and marsupials, which either have no placenta or only a very underdeveloped one. That's why Australia, to the east of this line, is home to so many unique mammals that we in the West rarely get to see. On the flip side, animals like elephants, tigers, and orangutans aren't found in Australia. Isn't that curious? What exactly is this mysterious line? This line, known as the Wallace Line, is a biogeographical boundary discovered by the scientist Alfred Russel Wallace in the 1850s. Wallace, during his exploration of the Malay archipelago, observed a dramatic difference in the types of animals living on the islands. He was particularly struck when he traveled from Bali to Lombok. Although these islands are only about 35 kilometers apart, the species on Lombok were completely different from those on Bali, almost as if the animals had transformed after crossing the sea. After extensive research, Wallace proposed the existence of this biogeographical boundary, which stretches from the strait between Bali and Lombok to the strait between Borneo and Sulawesi. He explained that the reason for the distinct animal populations on either side of the line is that in ancient times, the islands west of the Wallace Line were connected to the Asian continent, while those to the east were connected to the Australian continent. Because a deep sea separated these two landmasses, they were never connected by land. This limited the movement of animals between the two regions, allowing each side to develop its own unique species, a difference we still see today. Wallace's explanation was quite compelling and supported by observable differences in animal species on either side of the line. In fact, this idea later became a key piece of evidence supporting the theories of natural selection and evolution. However, Wallace's theory wasn't fully accepted at the time. This was partly because scientists didn't yet understand how much sea levels had dropped during the last ice age, when massive glaciers formed. Additionally, the theory of plate tectonics, which would explain the movement of land masses, hadn't been developed yet. As a result, Wallace's line wasn't widely recognized until much later. Based on what we know today, it's believed that the islands west of the Wallace Line were once part of a region known as Sundaland, connected to Asia. Meanwhile, the islands to the east were part of Sahul, a landmass connected to Australia. These connections were influenced by plate movements and climate changes. Even during the ice ages, when sea levels were lower, the deep ocean between these two regions kept them isolated, preventing the animals on either side from mingling. This is why the Wallace Line remains a distinct boundary in the animal world to this day. Isn't life full of mysteries? Although Wallace may not be as well known as Darwin, his discovery of this invisible boundary is one of the most remarkable achievements in biology, earning him recognition as a co-discoverer of the theory of evolution. I've admired Wallace as a biologist since my university days, and I've always wanted to talk about the Wallace Line and show the amazing creatures living on the Australian continent here on this channel. So, in the upcoming videos, I'll be sharing some of the unique animals I encountered in Australia. Stay tuned for the next video, where I'll reveal more evolutionary biology secrets hidden in Australia's one-of-a-kind creatures. That's all for this episode.